Thank you for joining us. You're welcome to another edition of Journalists Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Kogi State Medical Store warehouse looted. High-caliber equipment vandalized as looters return stolen items in Osun and Adamawa states. President Buhari vows that erring policemen and looters will face the law as police explain why they are not on the roads. And I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Shola Ojeusi. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. In the wake of the protests across the country, looting has grown to become more than a criminal activity on the streets, but also one of the most used words in the media space. While a medical store warehouse was being looted recently in Kogi State, looters are said to have begun returning stolen items in Osun and Adamawa states. Perhaps we will also have to wait for those who looted NYC camp to return their loot. Before we go on, let me just show you some visuals of looting in our country.
Kogi palliative don't broken this afternoon, and poor guys are busy packing rice, indomie, and all other food items that were sent down to the state for poor guys during the COVID-19. You can imagine the useless and stupid government of this nation. You can imagine government of Nigeria, Kogi State, palliative warehouse being broken this afternoon.
Hello, I'm a graduate from the University of Correction. This is my day. I'm celebrating my day.
All right, as you can see, these are some of the people that are embedded the NYC camp and carted away with a lot of things. Some of them are already dressed in the NYC uniform and are really, really excited about it.
I just can't comprehend that. I thought they were coppers. Don't they? They want to go and loot NYC. To do what?
Serious impersonation.
You know, okay, let me start with you, Shola. Yes. I don't know. You know, yesterday when I was listening with Jide, I said, okay, let's say this is hunger. If you go after noodles, go after edibles and everything. But in the same way, you go and loot mattress, you go to and loot WC to do what?
I think that there should be a kind of division, the difference between hunger in its real sense and madness. You know, when like our favorite author will say, when the handshake goes beyond the elbow, it has become another thing. The handshake of the protest has turned to something else considerably. And you imagine, you even see people in the process of looting, they got even more stupid than being silly. Why? Imagine somebody impersonating, wearing NYC uniform and going blatantly on screen.
I'm a graduate.
Maybe because of ignorance or maybe because, I don't know, because that's enough evidence of being a criminal. And you're blatantly telling the world, yes, I'm a criminal, I did this. But it's to tell you the kind of degeneration that came. I see it as, the joy of the protest that was peaceful, that was forward-looking, now turning to ashes in our mouths. Because if you imagine the kind of things that people had to do, it has gone beyond just expressing your anger about the way something is wrong to madness. Even it's so terrible. I'm really disappointed.
Babajide, yesterday somebody was asking me that yes, that we've done a lot to distinguish between the NSAS protest and this looting across the country. And if tomorrow NSAS people, if they come, that there's going to be another protest, Nigerians will be looking at the intended hardship that might come after that protest. And anytime they hear NSAS people want to protest, would this not be a kind of bad label against these people that actually protested for something legitimate?
It's because of what has happened. In future, they may not get the kind of support that they got this last time, because, frankly, they got so much support. The goodwill was tremendous. We cannot deny that that was a protest like no other. In the past, only the NLC was capable of galvanizing our people and getting a kind of cross-country acceptance. We've even had protests in the past by the NLC that were not complied with, even in northern Nigeria. But in this case, some states in the north witnessed protests, NSAS protests, Kaduna, Kano, Plateau. There were protests, even in the Middle Belt states. Kwara, we also had protests. So, but the issue is people are going to be weary of getting into a protest that they are not sure of when it will end. Supporting it. Because like this one...
Not sure if people will hijack.
Yes, they are not sure what will happen again. Whether we like it or not, these hooligans who took over this protest, I don't even like using the word hijack, these hooligans who took over the protest of the NSAS guys have managed to give the NSAS people a bad name.
Honestly.
For people who did not support the protest in the first place, what they keep saying now is, we
told them.
Expecting
you know,
press releases from their own end and everything from their end to, say, look, we dissociate ourselves from what is happening in Nigeria right now. This is not the NSAS protest.
No, the thing is, the central, there ought to be a secretariat. And any organization or any movement that big ought to have a secretariat, ought to have a core of decision makers. It must have a structure. But as I said, they wanted to copy the what's it called, the Hong Kong model. But already they have a culture of resistance there. And it's not everywhere that these people, in their own case, they don't occupy everywhere. So you copy them, but there were some things that were absent over there that were now fatally present here, that ensured that they lost the goodwill and lost the support that people gave them. Because, look, if they my suggestion then was, if you wanted to stay on the road, allow for people to be able to use a lane, so that your protest does not inflict pain on people.
Let's say Lagos Ibadan Expressway, and just
give a lane. It will still make impact. It will still make impact. And when you look at the Hong Kong people, it's not, they don't occupy everywhere. They are very strategic. If it is the parliament that they are going, they go and do a sitting in the parliament. Like when they wanted to stop the bill from getting second hearing, they knew the bill, the extradition bill, will get a second hearing. They had to go and occupy the place. So, but every road intersection in any major city, you wanted to do protest. I mean, at the end of the day, and there was no central leadership, at the end of the day, things will collapse, and that's what we saw.
Now, I want us to marry it. After the NSAS protests, at the tail end of the NSAS protest, the protesters were saying no to Muhammadu Buhari. They were saying no to bad governance. They were saying no to poverty. And the demand kept going on and on and on.
Up to 23.
Yes. Was it that those demands that triggered this streets open looting?
Well, even if people made demands, somewhere along the line, it was like the focus was on the SARS issue. Was somewhere when people started seeing maybe that this thing was having an impact, perhaps we can slot in some other issues. But even at that, a protest is a protest. No matter the number of facts or points you want to bring to the protest, it still doesn't ask you to go haywires, to start looting, that we know, to start doing those kind of things.
They're not the ones.
I mean, what I'm saying is, okay.
It's not a license for looting.
It's not.
The point of it.
What I'm saying, the way the whole thing turned out, you know, like I used the word that something that was quite good, that was, I mean, looking good, but turned to ashes in our mouth, in the sense that the outcome now became a problem, even for the people that organized it.
Yes.
I'll give you an example of people today. If you go to most of the BRT stops, see the crowd of people waiting endlessly, people sweating. And now somebody called me and said, is it the outcome of what we were trying to do to change the country? Then it's becoming another thing. The focus of such a person was not actually the organizers of the answers, but the kind of criminals that took over that stuff. And that is the essence. Perhaps there is a lesson to learn from this. In a democratic setting, there will always be dissent. People will not always agree with the policies of the president or any leaders. But when you want to do something, there has to be organization. There has to be well laid out plans so that your good intentions will not turn out to become another thing, like what we have seen here. So in that situation, what are we to do? There is the need for us to be able to maybe educate or inform one another about the essence of what protests really mean. Protest does not mean you should use it as a license to start maiming lives. The long-term effect of what we are seeing now, we may not know. The kind of damage that has been done, the monumental issues that are involved, you know. If you look at all the statistics that are coming daily, and we have not even seen all, who bears the brunt in the long run, you know? It is the people. We will be after the people in government, but one way or the other, we also have something to face when this comes up, you know. So everything has to be well planned and well structured. That's my take on that aspect. Yeah.
But actually, a lot of people will say the way the movements and the achievements in the first 3-4 days that the federal government, they held the federal government to ransom, and they got the attention from across the country, state government, state and federal governments. Even most states now, they've set up the panel for the NSAS things. They've set up their panel, and it has been sitting in many of the states now. Now, what I'm trying to ask you is that when they come together, this set of youths, when they form a political party, or when they adopt a political party from the ones we have in Nigeria, I'm sure APC and PDP, they'll give APC and PDP a run for their money if they can speak with one voice ahead of 2023 election and say, this is our presidential candidates, these are our governorship candidates across the country to face the structure of the PDP and APC.
You know, I said something some time ago while being interviewed by Your View crew, that my problem with Nigerian youth is that they are too apolitical. They
agonize a lot. They don't know how to organize.
No, they don't organize. They are too concerned about music, movies, Instagram, and the rest. They are not so concerned about politics. So it's like they are not happy with the government. They are not happy with governance. But they are not prepared to take steps to seize power. They have, when you look at the voting demographics, the young people, let's say 18 years to even 40, if we can classify 40 as young people, or 35, 20 to 35, they are in the majority. Clear majority. They are the biggest voting bloc. But what do we use them for?
They don't pay attention.
They give them money. They give the young people money. they are the ones who work as thugs on election day. The young people do not realize the power in their hands. And even with the way this went, you could see that they were not even interested in the political side of things. And that was fine.
All they want.
That was not something, it wasn't something bad in itself, because they didn't want to be tainted by politics. But in the end, political demands came into the equation. And at the end of the day, some of the goodwill that they had, they frittered. At the point when people started saying, oh, Buhari must go, you must recognize that out of some of those who supported your cause, there are Buhari supporters, but who would want to see that SAS as a unit in the police was disbanded? Who would want to see reform in the police? Because anybody could be a victim. You probably would have been killed before they realized that they killed the wrong person. Look at General Rindam, that the army officer that was killed many years back.
Strong in the river.
General Rindam, they didn't know that he was a general. They didn't know that he was Colonel Rindam. They didn't know that he was high up there. And he was killed. So, and it was a policeman that killed him. Policemen have killed senior army officers in the past without realizing who they were killing. So anybody could be a victim of SARS, or a power-drunk policeman bent or misbehaving just because he's carrying a gun, you know? So this is the thing. The young people should be thinking now about how they can seize power from the present ruling class. They have the ability to organize, but are they going to use it for political ends? It's not just enough
look at the viewership and the turnover of BB Niger.
That's
the number of people that watch BB Niger and they vote 100 naira.
Yes.
Can vote as much
but
as.
A lot of those people you can't even talk to them about politics. They won't listen. A lot of those people, they are not interested in politics. They believe that all this, there's so much dishonesty in politics.
I went to the mall today, and a particular man, elderly man, as he saw me, he shouted, you're super. Yes. And the son was like, who is he? He said, that program I used to watch every night. As in, you could know that the guy is not interested. He has not seen us before. He's not watching us.
A lot of them...
They're not interested. Z1 is enough.
For a lot of them, but the good thing is that many women watch this program. I've never seen a political or current affairs program that women watch like this. Because sometimes when some women introduce themselves to me and say, I see you, I tell them, I never believe that women could watch this program. Go and check the percentage of elderly women when they want to watch program. This is the sort of program that they watch. And they get enlightenment. It will help in the final analysis. It will help them make informed choices and all that. But younger people, these young people that we are talking about, they too need to take politics seriously. They should on their own. And it was suggested during this thing that why don't you just form a political group? But if they form it, they will end up quarreling with themselves, picking the biggest drama.
Look at
what happened they could not agree. So many of them and that woman
coming together.
What's the name of that? No. There was a young girl, a young woman lawyer that Sowore fought with during the celebration debate that I moderated 2 years ago. It was on the eve of the election. In fact, it got so bad that one of the elderly women in attendance, I think she's related to Fela, now said, I'm disappointed. I came to watch you people. Why are you doing this to yourselves? You mean you young people can't come together? That if you can come together, you have the crowd.
They said they are going to work together.
They
I have a
couldn't.
video, it's on YouTube.
They couldn't.
They said we are going to work together. We will work together.
Ego
They were
will
taking their
get in
hand
the way.
2 weeks after, when it was time to choose somebody that represent the lot.
You know,
Start seeing press releases.
I agree, Ayo.
They were dissociating.
The young people of Nigeria, a very strong demographic in the equation when it comes to the future of Nigeria. They have a lot of opportunities to create the kind of change that will determine the way their future is going to be run. But all those frivolities will have to be out of the way. They have to show deeper interest in the political equation in the country. If they don't come in, the same thing will continue to roll over. And I think it's high time the youth started looking at their involvement in how the country is being run. There are so many of them who are very intelligent. There are so many of them who have the wherewithal to be able to, participate favorably in politics. And there is just no way you cannot use all that you have with all the facilities, social media, everything you have at your disposal to be able to advance your political cause as children, as youths in the land. So it's one of the takeaways from what happened, the good side of the EndSARS protest is that it's not that the youth cannot mobilize. They can.
They showed that they can mobilize.
They showed. So that power to mobilize would be used. I'm telling you, if that kind of
political,
if they do that,
that's trend.
Because when you look at our presidential election, our governorship election,
Yes.
you see the number of people that participate in the presidential election.
Yeah.
They are not up to 20 million. Not
The
up to
youth,
20
if they
million.
come
Number
out
of people-
really during the elections, you will be shocked the kind of numbers that will be coming out from the elections. And that
I think
power.
one way that you can
Yes.
even, if you see, there are already amongst them
Yes.
young people maybe late 30s, that these young people respect. They played a part during the Big Brother Niger contest. Once someone endorses a particular star,
Yeah.
they played a part in Lacon's victory.
That's true.
People like Don Jazzy, the rest of them,
Yes.
they have followership. People, they have
Very huge
cult
followership,
following.
yes.
You know, so if some of them like that, who command so much respect amongst young people, if they show an interest in politics and they back a political group that is inclined towards young people, they should not. I'm not suggesting to them that they should go and support a PDP or APC or these old parties. A political group formed and dominated by young people. Once all of these powerful people among them, those who have following, jump in to say, okay, this is our party. Of course, it's going to really...
It's possible.
It will be explosive.
Honestly.
Actually, somebody
numerical
flew a
sense.
kite
Yes.
on Facebook
And they'll be able to raise money.
Yes, they're
Our
able to raise money. Look at the way they were
politics
raising
is money in our
money.
country,
Yes, now.
but they show that they can raise money.
They know how to do that. They raised that during this one.
Somebody came up with an idea this morning on Facebook. There was a poster. They just picked somebody along with another person that, those were faces during the demonstration, the protest. And you can look at the amount of response to that thing that, okay, let us create a different, political party for what we have on the ground. And, the kind of people, the way the people were galvanized to even respond to that. So if somebody comes up with something that has a very strong structure, then the people in power now will have a role for their money. But are the youth
I long for that day.
Are they ready?
I long for that day. We have to encourage them.
Be encouraged, yes.
Okay, I said it.
Ready,
I said
yes.
it earlier,
Yes.
but I'll just see from the figures here.
Yes.
Less than 30 million Nigerians actually participated in that election, and the president won with 15 million votes out of a
200
projected
million plus.
200 million. So you can see the apathy is still something we still need to work on. Babajide, what happened in Osun and Adamawa? Because we get daily updates from these states. There's like a competition of looters across states in Nigeria.
Adamawa have been really shocked at the level of looting in Adamawa State.
The crowd,
during the
they are hungry.
During the
Are they angry?
During the NSAS, during the NSAS protests, we never heard of protests in that area. But as soon as hoodlums took over, then Adama came on to
very
the news.
prominent.
So that is where, in broad daylight, someone stole a tractor. A tractor.
Adama is so famous for that.
They attacked. They went to the customs.
To Staff College.
No, the custom station there.
Okay.
After looting grains and other things, they went into the Marco Polo bus that was parked there.
Wow.
Some of them ripped apart the seats and took the seats home.
Seats.
Marco Polo luxury bus, they took away the seats.
Looting with anger.
You know, sometimes, have you not seen some pictures of people carrying
Jalingo.
signage?
Yes, in Taraba State. Somebody just carried Jalingo.
Another one carried in Ekiti. Another one carried the Ekiti State House of Assembly.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe want to
do
relocate the House of Assembly to somewhere else. You know, so now the anger...
Their sanity should be tested.
They have arrested about 238 looters in Adamawa State alone. So when you see the number of looters in Adamawa, is already competing with states like Lagos. Yet they never got involved in this thing. But the governor has done something. He said, okay, that there will be house-to-house search.
Okay.
So the moment they heard that the governor
is hell-bent on
doing the house-to-house search, they started returning their loot to the road intersections. So some of them drop bags of rice there for government to go and pick their thing. And then in Osun State, the curfew has really helped. What Toyotola has done is to say, look, there's amnesty for you, but after 72 hours,
really?
No more.
Return?
Yes, you can return what you've looted. You may not return grains. Okay. Return other things because they looted all kinds. I'm going to reel out what they... Now, after the curfew really helped in Osun because you know they will be inside their houses. You come and catch them with what they looted. So now they have returned 78 new motorcycles. 78 new motorcycles. They have returned 32 desktop computers. They have returned 45 air conditioners, all new. They have returned 82 deep freezers in Osun. They have returned 102 grinding machines. They have returned 34 sewing machines. Osun people, they looted. They have returned 28 generators.
State.
They have returned 18 smart TV.
They went to shopping malls. That shopping mall emptied it.
Yes, they have returned 18 water pumps. They have returned 10 photocopy machines. Now, one of the new bikes, the bikes that was found inside the well, the guy said he kept it inside the well. So
safe custody.
So government has retrieved this thing. You know. Now the amnesty has ended. Okay, anybody
what comes after
72 hours.
Criminality.
So if you are found now with any of these things, then you know that
you'll be prosecuted and treated like a common criminal.
But what people are saying is, if states can be going to house to retrieve stolen items, why didn't you go to house to deliver their grains to them? They stole the grains now. You are running from pillar to post, going from house to house. So you can actually deliver from house to house. Dangote delivered food items house to house.
Yes. Another takeaway, something very sad, even about this loot thing, that I think we should talk about. Do you know, people go into such events. You have a mass of people going into a building to loot. And you know, some people lost their lives in the process of looting.
Yes, now.
Stampede. There was a girl, I saw the dead body, I was shocked. At what price? Do you want to go and do this and then lose your life? So this thing is also a lesson. Some people may think, yes, we've done it, we've escaped it, but
It's not-
the next day,
I think at a
what
point,
happens eventually?
It's not to blame the looters alone.
I
Even
think at a point, some of them even thought they would get away with it. That, oh, this is the vogue now.
Free for all.
So if I can loot, that means I'm a strong man.
I was even shocked. The speed. You remember that tractor in Lagdamawa? Maybe the next
Yes.
day, a few hours later, the whole thing
they
has been
cannibalize
stripped.
it.
no, they're picking them one by one.
So what
That's the beauty of it.
protest?
The police will walk.
What's the essence?
No, they
Might
are
take
catching
time,
them. They are
but they'll
catching
get them.
They are catching- no,
They'll get them.
they
They're
are
picking
facing
them
go
one
and
by one.
sell.
Social media has already exposed their faces. Look at that one who looted and he
went
packed the Keke Marwa full with things that he
Yeah.
looted. And he was saying that it was Sugarban Kasa that gave him. That is Buhari that said they should give him.
And this other one that you just shown now, should just make sure she
What
try
does she
her best to gain admission to school so that she can do NYC.
Like the
for
Yoruba
real,
will say,
instead of
Oroburuku Tonteri.
looting the uniform.
In the process of seeing evil, sometimes you'll be forced to laugh. There was the story of a guy looting from a trailer a goat, and the goat tripped, and it became a battle between him and the goat. You know, you could see
He tripped and started beating the goat.
started beating the goat.
Yes, yeah,
And you know, such event, people should know.
And he was the one who was not paying attention because there is a hole.
Yes, yes.
You know? So the
Just
moment
got
that
into the
goat's leg touched it, the goat's, I think the other leg now kind of caused him to trip. The next thing, he beat the goat.
We have to do
They took
better.
it.
And
Okay, moving on now.
Yeah.
President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to bring to justice errant police officers and those involved in looting and destroying public and private properties in the wake of the recent protests. For obvious reasons, police operations have been badly affected, especially in Lagos, after police stations were burned down and weapons looted. Despite the setback it suffered, the Lagos State Police Command has effected the arrest of many of those who allegedly set the state ablaze. Here is a cross-section of suspects arrested over the carnage in Lagos. The next clip gives you a sense of how bad the situation has degenerated.
DPO! 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 The new DPO! Yeah, the new DPO! 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 DPO!
Did you see the DPO? The DPO was so he was so popular as at that time.
He was happy when they were hailing.
And when he got the manacles,
He was kept in the front row so that people will see him very well. This is when he was feeling funky. And I'm sure he didn't know what he was doing at this time, because this is beyond looting, this is beyond hunger, this is wickedness.
They asked him now that, were you the one who killed the police officer who owns that uniform? He refused to talk.
he was trying to get attention, stupidly exposing.
See him now.
I mean, it's
Because the
His mouth
situation
was already swollen. Look at his mouth. I trust my friends in
Of
the
course,
police.
they
Trust
will
my
have something
friends.
common, don't be silly.
So they made him humble.
Now, because what is happening in Lagos now is like, I noticed this kind of lackadaisical attitude, maybe, or I don't know how I would describe it. I don't know. In part of police officers, even members of the last man, the Lagos State Traffic Management Agencies, they're not all where they used to man. And I did my investigation, and it was like, look, if somebody would not guarantee their security, if their security is not guaranteed, it will be difficult to go back and man those traffic. Mind you, the traffic lights across the states in some points had been vandalized. So we will need, like that Allen Junction roundabout that I was talking about, we will need constantly to have a last mile official there from time to time. What is happening? Have you seen the police officers lately?
I think there is a lot of lessons that we've all learned as a result of what has happened. The security situation here, you know, we have to do a lot about it. Do we have enough CCTV cameras around Lagos, especially the flash points?
Nope.
This is the time for us to look into that. There has to be a kind of serious synergy. I don't think, because the police is not a state affair alone. There has to be a very strong synergy between the federal government.
We don't even have any state.
I mean, so, you know, because I saw a lot of police command asking the governor, please do this for us. Ordinarily, it should be the purview of the federal government. But
honestly,
because of the kind of synergy we're talking about, there has to be a way of supporting one another. But when that synergy must go beyond, I mean, use the experience we've had now to be able to improve the security situation. And it's also a lesson for officers.
At a point in time, it was only the RRS guys that were on ground that you could see. Because the other police were afraid.
The RRS people too also bore a brunt of what happened. And these are people we always see as being refined. Even the kind of reaction that came up it's nothing to write on about. It's just uncalled for. But it's a lesson, like I said. Even the security forces too should be able to know. A lot of officers take a lot of things for granted. They go out of their way. So there has to be a lot of.
We've been talking about police brutality, SAS brutality, police brutality, and the police guys too. They now say, "Hey, wait, we too were brutalized."
Yes, they came under attack, and it was really terrible. At least in Lagos, six policemen were killed, and more than 38 seriously injured. And
they're not ready to go back. They're afraid.
Yes, I will not be afraid. People are waiting. Their police stations have been destroyed. Their armories looted. Exhibits destroyed. You know, a record of criminal activities and of criminals.
If they have people inside the cell that time, they would have.
So you see, the thing is, in fact, with the policemen are demoralized now. Given all of what happened, they are demoralized. They are also thinking, a lot of them think that the security situation is not conducive. It's still not. It's not conducive for them to effectively do their work. Their police stations are destroyed, already destroyed. But what Akim Dumosu is saying is that even where those stations have been burnt, that the policemen must still show up there, you know. But where do they stay? It has made. We've always complained that the operating environment for policemen and even their welfare we had never really been taken care of. But things are now made worse because their areas of habitation now have now been destroyed by these boys. So where are they going to sit? You want a DPO, for example, to have his office where he can receive complaints and attend to those complaints. But with his men in disarray, how do they do the work? I have to commend Odumosu and his people that in spite of the fact that policemen are in disarray, their stations destroyed, they were still able to arrest 520 persons.
They're still picking them.
No, so it shows that, look, when these guys, especially when you hurt them,
yes,
they will come for you.
A lot of people will be arrested.
They will come. No, all of these, especially the ones that we can see their faces, they will get them. Even some of those who on social media were issuing threats because people will now have seen the social media as an area to terrorize people and threaten people that they are going to burn their homes. some of them, they must watch it because they are being watched. They are being
Technology,
watched.
you know,
They are being
it's
watched,
for you.
and they will come for them. Even if you are using the cloak of anonymity to do all of these things, they can get you, and they've got to realize that 71 police stations burnt in Nigeria during this period.
71.
71, at least as at Tuesday. So, and it's possible that they burnt more. 71. And the bulk of it in Lagos.
Lagos is reporting about 29 DPO offices burned down, 17 police posts, you have 71 vehicles, you know, apart from...
So even operational vehicles,
They don't have before.
people must understand that it's not easy for them to operate effectively now. So if we don't see them, the reasons are there.
Incapacitated.
Yes, if you burn their operational vehicles and their own, even their own private vehicles, any vehicle that they find within the premises of the police station, burnt.
I think, Babaji, it is time to call on the community development associations. The least you can do is fix the police station around you, make it habitable for these policemen.
I think some are doing, like
Because
in my
the federal government
area,
might not...
Unfortunately, there was a police post close to my place. They just repainted the place. They bought it in a new gen. They did the fence, you know. Just not more than 2 weeks after, these guys came and raised the OP. But somehow, we also have to comment. I think there is an underground effort being done, even by the state government. I witnessed one, on Monday. They sent delegates to that particular police station to take an inventory of what has been lost. The king also came around to look. They sent different people coming to see and promised that some things will be done. I think such will have to be done as soon as possible to encourage these officers. I will not lie to you. Some of them had to call me to be able to know what is going on in the environment before they could come to the office. Because they also have to study the situation, because their lives they wanted to be sure. So
look at the guy now. Look at the guy who was freed among the Edo prisoners that were released. The moment he came out of the prison, he went straight to his village. The person who testified against him, he murdered him straight.
You can't go around freeing criminals, hardened criminals, murderers.
He went straight to murder the person who testified against him. So policemen know that even now they are under threat. Criminals, you don't know. Some of the criminals that have been freed, you don't know which one a particular policeman handled this prosecution. So policemen know that at this time, a lot of them have to lie low because their lives are in danger. And the same thing with Lasma. When these mad boys prowl our streets, anybody wearing uniform, whether you are a VIO,
people that cannot spare traffic lights, traffic lights,
they are just demonstrating their anger against anything. And
meaningless anger.
Yes.
Ayo,
the ones who destroyed our tap here.
You know,
the pump head went for the pump head, just broke it.
One of the things,
maybe
do you need water to take to your house?
Or maybe it thought they could find water from there to quench the fire. Maybe that was how it was.
You know, one of the things experienced during this crisis was that sometimes too, the tactics used by the police themselves, they have to look at a lot of things in terms of their police-public relations. I'll give an example. There were some people who were trying to, go on rampage, but we saw some police officer coming to them and addressing them like gentlemen. They were able to calm things down. I will give you the police. I think maybe part of the training will have to be expanded to really delve into police-public relations. Let me tell you, during that crisis around my own house, when they came to the police station, the noise was, they were just shouting the name of one particular officer. That where is that officer? We want to, it's the one we are even, reason they consider the guy as being too harsh on them in the community. So sometimes the tactics, the relationship you have with the environment too also matters. Because when the chips are down, sometimes it comes down to you. So maybe the training or whatever effort being put up, there should be a way of getting the officers to be more attuned to the interest or create a kind of relation between themselves and the people in that particular environment they are policing. And there are some people say, no, we're not looking for this, because some will be good to them, some will be very, very wicked, and eventually they go after. So all these things will have to be put into, taken into consideration for us to move forward.
But actually, I remember today is Kabi's Oluweko's 77th birthday. And I remember that he also bear the brunt of these attackers. They took his
staff of office.
Took his shoe, took his, I don't know
where they wear the shoe.
I don't understand. They are not looking at the consequences.
That one is not hunger. That's why when you say that hunger is a factor in all of this, yes, that is hunger. So but you are stealing the Obakiolu's staff of office. Do you want to?
I'm sure
you want to take his throne.
I don't.
You want to take over his throne,
any
or what?
evil that befalls
then his shoe.
Do you know what rituals or
what do you want to do with his shoe?
Have been done?
You want to wear it to church or what?
And his name is written there. His name is written there.
Very ridiculous.
Very, I don't know.
The Yoruba, a thief that steals maybe the baby or the hair or the kakake of the king. Where is he going to blow it?
Yes.
You're wearing
because
a branded shoe of His Majesty, and you are displaying it. You know, somebody.
By now they should have arrested him.
You know, there are some traditionalists.
I'm sure.
There are some traditionalists who believe that that person has put.
He has already caused himself. He has caused himself
because these things are not just done by these traditional rulers. There are a lot of things.
Remember before Edo election, when the Oba of Benin brought out something they said they've not seen the sun for 70 years. So you can't try that.
And I saw a ritual being performed yesterday at the palace.
Yes.
It was desecration.
Yes.
And they started raining causes.
All the chiefs, all
the
white cap chiefs. Oh yes, in
all these guys.
Yes, I saw the video.
If young people start dropping dead,
we have to respect our culture. These are like the spirit behind what keeps the society together. Whether you like him or not, he's there by virtue of certain things that have been put in place for centuries. And you have to respect such people. I think that's the essence.
You say happy birthday to Oluweko.
So,
happy birthday. Oba Akiolu. All right. You may have heard of the 5 for 5 to end the police brutality. There's a new, fresh demand, and this time it has nothing to do with protesters. We will take a look at this and more after this break. Please stay with us. It's still Journalists Hangout.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
taking you through as it happens.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
with investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
There is so much happening in the lawmaking business than what you think you know. Here in the Lagos Parliament, we track happenings within and outside the hallowed chambers, bringing you every detail you need to know about the state legislature. On Lagos Parliament, you get a chance to meet the lawmaker of the week. Events are critically reviewed. You can also observe plenary in Yoruba language. I am Abimbola Adebi. Join me every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. as I take you through the activities of the Lagos legislature. Lagos Parliament, bringing the legislature closer to you.
Business lives on the fast track of numbers. Business is a strange world where low numbers mean something different. And its currency are speed and time. Finding the open doors of Main Street is not just good business, it's the start of the business. Join us every weekend on Business Week.
It's your multi-award winning program, Journalists Hangout, and we're reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. Now, Lagos Police Command has presented a 7-point demand to Governor Sanwo-Olu. The command says it has lost 6 policemen in the violence that broke out, with hoodlums burning 29 divisional police stations and 17 police posts across the states. Issue 4. Babajide, like the last topic we've treated, these people, they need help.
Yes, and
Lagos Police Command is a peculiar situation we have in Lagos. Close to 20 million people, they are under police already. For those damages to have been done to them, I think they will need the help of Governor Sanwo-Olu and the federal government.
They need help, seriously. The good thing about Lagos State is that there's a model by which corporate concerns help Lagos in funding the police, in providing the needs of the police, like operational vehicles and the rest.
Lagos State,
you see, when there is police presence anywhere, the Lagos Security Trust Fund, and some states too, have also
emulated.
Yes, I think Ogun State is one of those states. You know, when you see the police somewhere, maybe you went to a club at night, you are driving home, and you see in one of those dark spots, you see a police vehicle, maybe an RRS vehicle, or any police vehicle for that matter there. There's a confidence that it gives you.
Yes.
That, yes, I'm safe here. Nothing bad will happen to me here, you know, because the policemen are present there.
We're always stationed here.
Yes. So a lot of those vehicles are burnt now, as we speak. A lot of those vehicles are burnt. So,
out of the shortage.
Yeah, so those corporate organizations will need to rise to the demand of the police. We can't leave this to Babajide Sanwo-Olu alone. Because at this time,
the state has been...
I don't even know where he intends to start from.
Honestly.
I don't envy that man. I don't envy that man. You can see, this is, only God knows how many minutes of sleep he gets in a day now. We can't be talking about hours now. To run a state like this and to confront the multifaceted problems. And then this one, because this one was a real attack on Lagos. Someone told me that, Jide, that until one goes to Lagos Island, before you know the extent of damage done to Lagos. He said, no, mainland, no. He said, until you go to Lagos Island. And frankly, even when I was piecing reports of all these attacks together, I didn't even know that they went to Lagos Hall, Lagos City Hall.
City Hall, yeah.
What for?
City Hall.
What for? There are some iconic buildings that you see built. That people should not. You can imagine anybody going to Eiffel Tower in France and say that he's going to destroy the place. I mean, those like, iconic structures.
Like the Taj Mahal in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, to say you are going there to destroy. But some of the mad people that were unleashed on our streets during this protest, they do not care less.
The administration of Akinwumi, but they built like a cinema at the back of Oregon.
Yes,
they just launched it.
Like a brand new recreational center. Recreational center. I see it. You see it. Beautiful place.
Sad. It's really sad.
But to go into the demands, number one, they will want the state government to foot the bill of injured policemen.
That should be automatic.
Yes, Mr. Sanwo-Olu has no hesitation. You agreed. Then they want him to consider payment of compensation to the family of deceased policemen. The 6 policemen who were killed during this crisis. They know them. They need to do.
I think before the crisis, the governor was talking about a 200 million something from Lagos State. Yes, to intervention.
Now, they also want the state government to take over the burial arrangements of deceased police officers during this period. Of course, this is not difficult for the state to do. Then they want the government to consider scholarship for children of deceased police officers.
Individuals can come together, well-meaning individuals.
So what the governor has even said is that his essay on education should take that up and see the possibility of Then they want the state government to rebuild burnt police stations and make them bigger, proper, in proper standard, something that policemen will be proud of. So it's just like saying the rebuilding should now make the stations modern.
Bigger.
When you go to Abuja now, you see the police headquarters in Abuja with all its lifts and everything. No, not Etimiya. Louis Edet, sorry. When you see how beautiful the place and the way they've kept it clean, you ask yourself, and they've kept it clean all these years, very clean.
The environment should inspire.
Compared to what you see in some police barracks, this is a complete departure. They've always kept it clean, So they want the government to help build new
police stations,
yes, and make them modern. Because what we had, some of them were not really looking good. But at least now, when you build, you create good offices, recreation areas, and all that, and enough cells.
Their cells will be habitable.
Because yes, they even need to expand those cells. Because if now these 520 people that they arrested, that some of them, the prison said, no, we can't take these people. Why?
To join to trial people.
Why? Because it will go against their own policy of waging a war against congestion. Secondly, when you bring suspects like that, they must first test them for COVID. Because it will send in people who have COVID-19. The rate at which they will spread it in that area. Prisoners will start dropping dead one by one. They will say Nigeria is a bad country. So they have now said, okay, you go and test those. So those ones now will first have to be kept in police cells. So those cells will then have to be expanded. That's my suggestion. Because there are many criminals in our state. I say we are deceiving ourselves. So the police cells need to be expanded so that we don't see crowded cells, So I'm sure that when they are rebuilt, all of this will happen. And of course, they want the government to help them upgrade the police cottage hospital. Governor Sanwo-Olu has said, well, I'm going to tell the head commissioner to have a look at the police cottage hospital and see what can be done to give it the upgrade that the police commissioner, Alpha Tango.
Okay. This is part of what you are even saying. If you want Governor Sanwo-Olu to take all this demand, hook, line, and sinker, meanwhile, the Lagos State Police Command is not responsible to governor.
Yes.
Sanwo-Olu is responsible to the federal government. Yes. That is the restructuring people have been, clamoring and shouting about. If it's something that is Lagos State now,
that have been funding police largely
from time.
All of these
I'm telling you,
Lagos State. Let me say this: there was a time at the National Assembly there was a kind of clamor for a special status.
Yes, it was shut down. It was shut down.
I think that has to be reopened. But in the light of what we have now, Lagos is under-policed. And when Lagos catches cold, the nation sneezes. They have to be aware of that.
When Lagos sneezes, the nation...
No, is it not the cold you get before you sneeze? It is the symptom. The symptom of that cold is you sneeze. So, the special status aspect. First, the police does not belong to the state. So whatever the state does is more to me like a kind of charity. But there should be a way beyond the police. There are other things that Lagos needs. So if some people are being given this Northeast Development Commission, this or that one, Lagos is a peculiar state because what is coming into the country.
It was brought to the floor of the Senate and it was shut down.
Yes.
No,
8 Senates,
I think this has to be reopened.
7 Senates, 8 Senates.
Whether we like it or not.
Senator Remi Tinubu actually brought it. Maybe 7 Senates. Yes, but it was shut down.
So if what affects Lagos, in essence, affects the nation. And if Lagos is not well policed...
something about the welfare of everybody now. Everybody in the Senate, they will not shoot it down.
No, they shouldn't. So we have to do something about that. Most of them have
properties in Lagos.
Yes.
Most of them are Lagos.
When you even see, even when we are talking about moving away from too much dependence on oil revenue. Where will you get the money? VAT, even from customs, the bulk of the money come from here. You know? So there's no reason why anybody should shoot down that kind of.
But also
the ports are here now. And we make a lot of money from the ports. You know?
Ports, airports, you know, everything that makes sense.
Our brothers and sisters at the National Assembly have a lot to do regarding it. Even the issue of state police.
Commercial capital.
What stops Lagos from having its own?
No, if Lagos must have its own state police, everybody must have.
But
why don't we just say what stops us?
Okay, let us all have it.
So that they don't say you are too selfish because you are staying here.
No, well,
you want it for Lagos.
I'm in Nigeria. I've lived everywhere. It's necessary for Nigeria. I admit it's necessary for Nigeria. But we have to do something about it. It's nothing to joke about anymore. I think we are no longer, we are in the 21st century. And a city like Lagos, especially, and other states, the burden, the burden on the federal government is so much. When the president will be thinking of what's happening with the insurgents, let the states be able to handle their things their own way because they understand the terrain better.
And finally, Babajide will continue to say it's their welfare.
The welfare.
Yeah, it's very important.
The salary.
Very important.
Package.
That's right.
Package.
As I was
to say it.
Today,
the federal governments.
Today, some policemen saw me and they say, thanks for always talking about our welfare. I now said, what I was saying the other day, two policemen saw him and they were saying that.
Where's the other one?
Maybe those ones don't even watch TV. They don't watch TV.
No, they ask him. They ask for you. So where's the other one? You know when they
or they were just angry. You know, sometimes they were in a bad mood generally. Otherwise, we've literally shouted ourselves who was here.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about police welfare, so it's a policeman sees us and imagines that we are an enemy.
No.
That is a policeman who clearly does not understand what he watches on TV. Because if you understand what you are watching, you know that all the time
it has
we
been
talk about
you.
it. And policemen, even at the top level, including those who have retired, they know that we continue to play our own part in getting government to give us the kind of police that we want.
And above all, we have friends in the police.
We have friends. So those ones, they may have their own reasons. But it has never happened to me, Sha. I've never seen where a policeman will stop me and say that you are an enemy of the police. No, I've never encountered that kind of policeman.
That's why I had to call them out.
No, so if they allow maybe they are angry. Maybe that was a bad day at the office. A bad day at the office. Maybe somebody touched their runner that day, and they are looking for someone to vent their anger.
Yes, they allowed me to pass.
How many times are we going to talk about the welfare?
No, we have to. I think there's been a great, that's a very strong CSR from your part. I have to agree.
We'll keep doing that.
Because you people put in harm's way, you have to do something to make sure that they have the kind of mental security to be able to do that. And that's welfare. It's very essential.
We need them to be happy to protect all of us. We love you, Nigerian police. None of you should have that illusion that we don't love you. You are being unreasonable because we've always supported you, we've always fought for you. Don't be unreasonable. When you see us, we are passing, because we go around at night, don't harass us. We are doing our job. If we criticize you, as we sometimes do, it is because you deserve to be criticized. By some of your behaviors would advertise criticism. So when we are going at night, don't say, don't harass us. If you harass us, we'll start our own NSAS campaign.
All right, now, the next issue, Manchester United trash German side. Leipzig 5-0 in Champions League ahead of the crunch tie against Arsenal on Sunday. The Champions League fixture was won among other matches played on Wednesday. So I'll take this break. When we come back, Mia Akiri will join us and we'll look at Manchester United trashing that other side 5-0.
Every 1 hour, 86 migrants enter Lagos State. It is a beehive of activities. Every second counts in this city that never goes to sleep. There is always something to talk about. We go the extra mile to tell the story of Africa's 5th largest economy. We track happenings on land, on waterways, and in the air. We go against all odds to ensure that you are heard.
25% of the entire spread of Lagos is covered with water.
I'm Adedoja Salamageni. I live in Lagos.
Keane glances it unmarked into the corner and having really huffed him. Good spin and hit, wasn't it, from Deniz Turuc? But much like the Vizca effort earlier, just a little too central to really make it a bad distance away from Navas, and instead made it a good, comfortable range for him. Herrera to Rafinha. Mbappe, there's the acceleration again. And Mbappe, and Keane, it's two! Both for Moise Keane. And flattering as it may be, Paris Saint-Germain are well on their way to an opening Group H win here. It won't calm all the critics, it might not even calm any of them, but it will be putting 3 points on the board, and having lost on opening night to Manchester United, that's the most important thing for them.
Of Ousmane Dembele. Dembele's shot, big deflection. Szczesny's helpless, and Barcelona lead. Ousmane Dembele took it on. Touch on it. It's going to be a corner. As Messi takes up the ball and has a look and sees Ansu Fati, and he sees Griezmann racing in left, and Griezmann's missed the target. He thought he'd score, but he hits it. Oh, what a great chance for Griezmann. Just drags it wide. And Demiral's overrun that, and Demiral is in trouble. And Juventus are in deep trouble because they're going to finish the game a man light. He'd overrun it. He had no option. Turkish defender. Messi. Ansu Fati gets in front of Bernardeschi, and Bernardeschi, that's why he's not a fullback. That's a clumsy challenge.
Play in front of a crowd, that hasn't happened at all in England since Hudson-Odoi. Well, if you don't buy a ticket, you won't win the lottery. Hudson-Odoi took the shot. His first goal since joining from Ajax, and the points are well and truly safe. Martinovic beaten here by Abraham. It's Pulisic, and it's 4. And that is harsh on Krasnodar. But Christian Pulisic makes it 4-0 to Chelsea with a counter-attacking goal that leaves...
Yeah, tricky one that. Not sure whether it got a deflection on the way, but it's come through a big clutch of players.
Pogba. Greenwood's in a very good position here, and he's such an efficient finisher. Margins again, Alan, isn't it? Is it going to be a night for VAR for Manchester United? I believe it is. Rashford, full of delight.
Thomas Meunier. Meunier's cross, and as our pull back, that's a penalty.
Torgan Hazard, the player manhandled, yellow card here for Kadafayev. It looked a penalty on first viewing. We'll see here. There you see, hands all over Torgan Hazard, wrestled down by Vyacheslav Kadafayev. Clear penalty. Jadon Sancho from the spot to make his mark in the Champions League tonight. Jadon Sancho puts it away. And finally, it's lift off for Dortmund tonight. A penalty put away by Jadon Sancho. Bellingham's flick on here, and Haaland's away. His kind of chance, his kind of moment, and he does the rest, like he always does.
All right, Mia Akiri from the Sport Desk is joining us to talk about Manchester United whitewashing Leipzig German side 5-0. Mia, at a point in time, I was looking forward to the exit of Ole because we weren't doing well after the beginning of this season.
It's not over yet. It's not a done deal for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment because what is the trademark of United's side is not just competing, it is winning trophies. That's why Ole, was brought to replace Jose Mourinho as the manager of the side. But by and large, in the Champions League, we've seen a different Manchester United entirely from what we've seen in the Premier League, where United is struggling in 15th position. But you must indeed give it to the team against the German side, Leipzig. They're doing very well in the Bundesliga. But right from United's game against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, where Marcus Rashford got the winning goal, they've continued with that rich vein of form. Coming against Leipzig, and the record for Rashford at the moment is amazing. Is now the second Manchester United player after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to come on as a substitute to score a hat-trick, which is very, very good for the 22-year-old. And then when that happened for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in 1999, February precisely, and that was the era of the greats. That's one. Secondly, is the second youngest, player in the Champions League history to come from the bench to get a hat-trick, which also speaks volume. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his team played against a Leipzig side who are good at pressing. Despite getting the lead, we saw Leipzig still having possession, and Solskjaer turned to his bench. And who couldn't get the job done for him? None other than NBA Marcus Rashford, who came on to get a hat-trick. It speaks volume. And the question is, will it go into, this form on a Sunday when they face an Arsenal side who are not doing very well? That's where, the world will start taking a look at
We'll talk about that one. Babajide, what did Leipzig do wrong in that match?
I don't think they were their best in terms of defensive play. And Upamecano, that everybody had been talking about, call him the new Raji Danhak, just was roasted by Marcus Rashford in a matter of a few minutes, So the truth is, Manchester United didn't have the benefit of a pre-season. They were playing games, playing the Europa Cup at a time when others were preparing for a new season, when others had the privilege of resting and then having a proper pre-season preparation. So it's bound to affect them, but the fitness levels have gone up now. So teams are struggling now to cope with Manchester United. If you watch their game against Chelsea, you will see that it was actually the new Chelsea keeper that saved Chelsea from being thoroughly defeated on the day. And a team that can go to Paris to defeat Paris Saint-Germain the way Manchester United did is a team that you must understand are in a good form at this time. Forget about the loss to to Tottenham. They put that behind them. The team now plays with a defensive steel that we didn't see before now. Look at the job that Wan-Bissaka did on Kylian Mbappe. Probably the fastest attacker in the world. He kept him quiet. So these guys are in a good form, no doubt about it. Many people didn't give them a chance when they were going to Paris, but they defeated Paris Saint-Germain at home. Now, they also didn't give them a chance against Leipzig, because Leipzig are the league leaders in Germany. They are ahead of Bayern Munich at this time. Yes, they are the league leaders. They are not just a club that is strong. They are the league leaders currently. So, for a team that strong, for a team that did well, even in the last Champions League, eliminated Atletico Madrid, for Manchester United to beat them with 5 unreplied goals, that should tell you that something is happening.
Yes. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford's hat-trick.
Well, I think I have to give it to Marcus. Let me say, according to Steve Nichols, of a former player of Liverpool, sorry, I don't know, I'm a Liverpool fan, so don't mind. He said that Man U was largely outplayed in a larger part of the game until something just came up. Solskjaer made what I can call a kind of tactical volte-face, like they say, and brought in this substitute. And that was when the game changed. But the guy showed a kind of class that people have started noticing. That's about Rashford. And I think, you know, when you have such a person coming in as a substitute and doing it right at the right time, I think it was great. It was huge. But, you know, I also have to give it to the coach. You know, if you look at the pattern, the Man U team was more defensive. Especially the defeat of Leipzig was done in 25 to 30 minutes. But he decided to soak in the pressure.
Minutes.
Yes. He soaked.
And it's the fastest hat-trick in Champions League history.
He soaked in the pressure, knowing Leipzig. You know, it's a very compact team. If you see what they've done. But there is a pattern we have not noticed about Man U. You remember they defeated 2 semi-finalists that were in the last season. It shows perhaps there is a kind of stronger interest in the Champions League than in the domestic league. I don't know. But that's what I noticed.
Would I be right to say that Manchester United have just gotten their groove back?
Well, it's good to know that you're winning games. That's when it comes to the big games. It is always, you know, a good omen. But going into the game on Sunday against Arsenal, that would be another test. Yes, Arsenal may not be doing very well. You know, if you are winning the points, especially against the bigger teams, take a look at the group. You've got Basikir, you know, from Turkey. You've got Manchester. You've got Paris Saint-Germain, and you've got Leipzig. Paris Saint-Germain, Leipzig did very well in the Champions League last season, got to the semi-final stage, which shows that getting the first 2 to qualify from this group will be very, very difficult. Now, when you have a Manchester United getting maximum 6 points from 2 games, speaks volume of what to expect, you know, from this side of the Champions League. Now, PSG, with the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and all others, are all under pressure to ensure that, yes, they don't, you know, get knocked out at this stage, at the group stage. Now, Leipzig also has been a formidable side. You know, so the pressure is still on, but it's good to know that, yes, United have got the edge at this stage, and the team should be a bit relaxed. It's not the time to take the foot off the pedal for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but my worry will probably be in the defensive, you know, line of the team. If you want to win trophies, you must indeed get better at the defense. And if there's one player who is prone to mistake, especially in the last couple of days, just like Bajide said, this is a team that didn't have the best of them pre-season, and while others were preparing for the new season, you know, they were in a major tournament, you know, the Europa League. Maguire has been in some bad form off the pitch, from the English national team getting a red card to having issues while he was on holiday. You know, that has not really settled. So if you can get the best from Maguire and other defenders at Manchester United, it will go a long way. But unfortunately, we've seen a ball that has not really bagged Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the transfer market. That's another word. But with the way they are going, yes, good for them in the Champions League. They must indeed start ticking the right boxes in the Premier League.
Then too, I was surprised about Pogba. I think the guy did something. There is a saying by somebody that when Pogba plays well, Man U plays well. Maybe that has to be looked into when you are factoring the player selection. But yes, when they played, Pogba was exceptional. He also had.
But actually, let's talk about Sunday match against Arsenal. What are your expectations?
No, both coaches are very unpredictable. But Arteta is a different kind of coach to the kind of coaches that Arsenal have always had. He's pragmatic. He has given Arsenal that defensive solidity that was not there. And Arteta is prepared to park a bus. If he sees that he's playing against a superior team, he's prepared to defend throughout the game and just look for a counter-attack to win the game. We've seen him do that. He has a winning mentality, and he has helped Arsenal to improve. The results may not always come, but he's a young coach. He still has many years ahead of him, and he will get better as a coach. But in this game, it's very unpredictable. This is a very unpredictable game. It depends on the way both coaches approach this game. But Manchester United will appear to have a slight edge in this game because they are in a better form. And of course, the players are playing better now because the coach tweaked the system. That defensive solidity is there now because you have the Brazilian. He's underrated. People are talking about Pogba, but it's Fred. Is the marathon man of Manchester United. He's the one who does all the work. It's difficult to take Fred out of the team now. Remember, he lost his place to Pogba before now. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has seen that in the French national team, Pogba is used on the left side of the midfield. So rather than playing him in a deeper role in Manchester United to accommodate either of Fernandes or the new boy from Holland, Van der Beek, he has seen that he cannot play all those star midfielders at the same time. You saw that he kept his best player on the field. Manchester United's best player is Bruno Fernandes. He kept him on the bench and he brought him in during the second half. Brought in Marcus Rashford, and we saw a hat-trick in 27 minutes, which is a Champions League record. And he had the chance to score a fourth goal when he was tripped. Because he's the team, after Bruno Fernandes, the team's next best penalty taker. But he passed that opportunity to Anthony Martial because he had not scored in a long time. So Martial took the penalty and scored. So these guys are in form, and when their confidence is good, they can take on any team. There's no team that they can't beat when their confidence is good, as we have seen in the last few matches.
Yeah, I saw the table, but I wasn't so impressed.
That's it.
When you look at the big boys, the so-called big boys, it's only Liverpool that we have up there now.
My team.
That we have, I think, second now.
Man U has a game in hand.
Yes, when they play that game, they will be like 6th or 7th. As of now, I think they're 12 or 11. And when you look at it, and what is happening?
Well, everyone has been talking about, the panic button should be on at this stage. Yes, the Premier League is a marathon race. Every point is important, even when you say it's a marathon race. And that's just the honest truth. Well, Liverpool are in a comfortable zone at the moment. Take a look at the table, you realize that the two Merseyside teams actually top the table at this point in time. Everton at top of the log, then followed by Liverpool Football Club. You've got Aston Villa, and then let's go back to the season when Leicester City won the Premier League. Leicester City are fourth on the Premier League table, but at this stage, when Leicester won the Premier League title, they were not doing very well. They have a better campaign now with the number of games played so far compared to when they won the Premier League title. So that's why, to a large extent, everyone is now talking about, can we see a repeat of the Leicester when no one gave them the chance and you see an unknown team, win the Premier League title? That's the question, being asked now. And the regular has suggested maybe Tottenham Hotspur could come in. We've got the Jamie Vardy also. Leicester City are not outsiders. They could also break in. The truth now is, the money in the Premier League is huge, whereby the smaller teams can also compete to buy players, just like what the bigger teams
and they can keep their best players.
They can keep their best players. Now, let me also
not under pressure to sell.
Yes, let me also go back to the Marcus Rashford issue. Now it is obvious that the comparison of a Marcus Rashford and the Kelechi Iheanacho years back to it is not evident that they were class apart. When Kelechi was at Leicester City, everyone was always saying a Kelechi and a Marcus Rashford. But today, I think Rashford has been able, to up his game and to show that, yes, I'm a key player for Manchester United.
For England.
And for England, compared to a Kelechi who is right now, on the downward slide, unfortunately for him. Not a starter at Leicester City, maybe overlooked at some point in time, by the manager of the side, Brendan Rodgers. My worry, for United going forward, like I said earlier, is the defense. In the first 3 games, they conceded 11 goals. If only the board...
That's why I told you, the coach has tweaked the strategy.
Okay.
You now have Fred sitting deep and providing that solidity and providing a sort of screen for the center halves, because you must get past that midfield before you get to. So you can see, if you watch the game against PSG, there was nothing they didn't throw at Manchester United, but the defense was rock solid.
Even yesterday,
even the only goal that PSG scored was an own goal. Well, they didn't really score from open play. It was an own goal. So the defense is stronger than earlier in the season because he has tinkered with his formation.
With his formation. But by and large, like you said, when the Pogba is playing well, United wins, and that's a good thing. Yes, tweaking of the squad, maybe bringing the Pogba to the left-hand side a bit could they change things at this point in time, but
no, that's right.
We have to keep our fingers crossed.
That's his best place.
Option.
He cannot defend. He cannot defend to save his life. He is better. Play him further. Yes, and I still think that, given the way Van der Beek played yesterday, he has a big future in Manchester United. But how do you accommodate him in the team? With people like Bruno Fernandes there, it's a struggle. And they are going to improve as long as they realize that. You know that he had to bench Pogba.
After the Tottenham game?
Yes. Yeah. Even this last game, he came in as a substitute in the last game. Pogba has now seen that, look, he must earn his place. Against PSG, he also was a substitute. So the competition for spaces will make players improve. Look at De Gea now, the goalkeeper. He's doing a lot better now because he realized that Anderson has been brought to challenge him.
Yeah, De Gea, I agree with you. During the game, De Gea was, even Leipzig.
This one, they did not really
goals.
Test him.
If they had scored those 2 goals, we don't know what will have happened with that game yesterday, but he was there.
Ole's job safe for now?
Ole is at the wheel.
For now, he's in charge of the wheel. But time will also
tell. Ole is at the wheel.
But things can change very, very fast. I hope United will indeed continue with this rich.
Thank you so much for being here. We keep watching the Premiership and the Champions League to see development.
Does it sound? Ole is at the wheel.
Shola, thank you so much. Shola or Josie, sorry, I'm so sorry. Shola or Josie, thank you so much for being part of the show today. And the Maestro, we've been doing it from Saturday back to back.
We'll continue to do it.
We'll continue to do it.
We'll continue to make the viewers happy.
Yeah, not tired. All right, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. I'm Ayodele Ozubakum. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.